Hi, I'm Chitra Iyer, CEO of MFA Capital. Today, on the occasion of International Women's Day, I have with me the bold and beautiful icon of India, Padma Shri, Vidya Balan.
Oh my God, thank you.
Dear Vidya, I'm going to ask you today about your financial journey and how you think about the women of India today and women across the world. Why not? Why just India? In terms of how they should take charge of planning their finances. Welcome. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you to you too.
You have been a part of the MFA family. Thank you so much. For so many years, we have known you and your beautiful family who have, the most important person being your father, who has been our chief mentor. And for the entire team, he is the youngest colleague and we truly look up to him and love him a lot. And, I'm really thankful for you for having agreed to do this.
No, it's an absolute pleasure because, thanks to MFA, of course, through Dad, I understood and began to appreciate the need to invest my money responsibly and with complete knowledge. I think that's very important. Initially, it was my dad who was handling everything, and now he's begun to involve me in decisions. And previously, I would tell him, no, you just do whatever you feel is right. I don't know anything about it. But slowly, he's begun to inculcate that need to know what I'm doing with my money in me, and for which I'm very, very grateful. And MFA, we trust completely. I think when it comes to money, trust is very, very important. Therefore, I'm very happy to be sharing my experience today here and also hopefully inspiring more people, importantly, more women to do the same.
Exactly. You, I feel, are one of the biggest role models for all the women across the world. The path-breaking work that you have done, one of the bravest actors. We are all huge fans.
Thank you.
For every single release, we all wait. What is Vidya going to do now? You've chosen your roles, especially such challenging and extremely hard-hitting women roles, Tumhari Sulu is something that completely forces everyone to say, "Main kar sakti hai." You were so inspiring for all of us, and we look forward to so many more such beautiful things coming into your life and you showcasing it to the world.
Thank you.
Right? So as we also know that this shows how genuinely concerned you are about women, and this is exactly where we thought we could do this. And does it feel like a very huge responsibility?
No, not at all. I think the only person I'm responsible for, or I feel responsible towards, is myself. I will not lie here and I will not say that, if someone finds inspiration in what I do, I'm very grateful for that, but that's not the intent with which I set out to do anything. I realize that money is power, which is why women are very wary of handling their own money, because traditionally power has been a masculine possession. It has been a masculine prerogative. So I think women are always scared that they will threaten the status quo if they begin to handle their own money. Even if they earn, and I'm a prime example of that, even though I earn really well, or I have been earning really well for years, I did not want to have anything to do with making decisions with regard to that money. And my father has been doing it, and at some stage, I love narrating this story. When I was getting married, he told me, he said, so should we do a meeting, should I arrange a meeting between MFA and Siddharth so that he can take over the finances? And I was really offended. I was like, I'm earning that money. I will take care of it. If you want to hand it over to someone, I'm the one you need to hand it over to. I love Siddharth. I trust him implicitly. I don't need to even say these things. But that's not the point. I think I was also angry with myself because up until then, I didn't feel the need to take care of my money. So suddenly I said, why does money have to be a male preserve?
True.
It does not have to be. So at that time, around the time that I was getting married, I said, okay, I'm going to take interest. He said, because you don't know anything, you're not interested, you keep telling me, you make the decisions, you don't even know how much you have on you. So I said, okay, that's going to change. I started sitting with him, and initially it was mind-boggling. It was like, I used to get overwhelmed, with the concepts, and I'm an art student. I'm not done commerce. I knew nothing of. I had even forgotten what inflation was. That's so basic, right? So I was like, oh my God, this is too much for me to process. But I kept at it, and I think he kept pushing me to do regular sessions with my coach, who's Meena. And Meena has a great ability to break down concepts, make it very relatable. She would often use film-related examples for me. So, about how a producer spends and how, there are so many variables, and explaining the market situation through the point of view of films. And then slowly it started making sense to me. I would repeatedly, every month, when we had a session, I would keep asking her the same question, and I would feel so dumb. I would feel like, oh my God. But very kind of her, she never judged me for that. And I'm so grateful today because I think, like I said, money is power. And when you know how much money you have, and when you make decisions in investing it, of course I do it with my father. I'm still not in a position to make those decisions entirely on my own, and we're ably guided by MFA. But I feel so much stronger. I'm not worried about. There is great financial security today because of that. So financial security, I don't think just comes from having money. It's from knowing how you're handling that money. I keep telling all the women around me how important it is to invest. So I've introduced a lot of girls and women to MFA, and I'm so glad they're investing today. Some of them tell me, we don't have a big amount. And I'm like, no, you have 10,000 rupees, go invest. No amount is too small. And there was a house help of mine, a few years ago, who would keep a part of her salary with me. And I would tell her, why don't we open a bank account? And she'd say, नहीं, मेरे घर में उनको अच्छा नहीं लगेगा अगर उनको पता चला कि मैंने अलग से अपना खाता खुला है. She has a certain mindset. She comes from a certain social economic background. But even when it comes to women who earn really well, they don't want to take charge. And I hate the word control, so I'm not going to say you have to be in control of your destiny or of your finances. I'm saying you have to take charge of your life, and that has to start with your finances. True. Also, because a lot of women put up with a lot of rubbish in their lives when they don't feel financially independent. Even women who are doing very well because they go and hand over their salaries to their husbands. I know women who have joint accounts. They're extremely moneyed women, so to speak, because they're earning really well, and yet their salaries go into the joint account.
Vidya, I know quite few women who, like you said, would just hand over their money to their husbands, and the husband would know his money and about her money, but she would never know about his money.
It's the same mindset, I think. You don't want to take ownership of your money. Forget knowing about your husband's. Do you know about yours first? And like you said, it's one, I focus on investing, but I'm saying women even find it difficult to spend on themselves.
True.
So first you should have enough on you to be able to fulfill your own needs? And that's very relative, right? Different people have different needs. One is to spend on yourself, the other is to invest for yourself. And like you said, in a marriage, it's between two people, and both need to know,
Yes.
or both need to not know. There has to be equality there. That's very, very important.
True.
I think I was in the 3rd standard when I asked my father to open a bank account for me. I asked for, on one birthday, I said, give me 100 rupees. And I started saving then. Like I said, I'm someone who's always saved. If my parents gave me something, or, relatives gave you money on special occasions, I would save that.
Yeah.
I was not someone who'd just go and splurge.
Oh, wanting a bank account at 3rd grade?
Yeah, 3rd grade, yeah.
So definitely, complete genetically, dad is there in terms of
Right.
having groomed you from then.
No, also I think, it comes from my father, because my father's family went through very tough times. After my grandfather, my father's father, passed away, they were reduced to penury through some cheating within the extended family. And they've seen very tough times. So I think he's always been very careful, very meticulous about at least saving a little.
Yeah. So what would you think should be the change in the women of today? How should they change their attitude, and what should they be doing?
No, I think firstly, women need to take ownership of money. Within the family also, as long as you are given money and told you have to run the house, you have to save so much within that and all that, as long as you are fulfilling a responsibility, as long as your relationship with money is that you're using it for someone else, you're okay. The moment it comes to using it for yourself, even if securing your own future means you're securing the future of your family, you get very, so that needs to change. And I'd say, for any woman, start with just putting today we don't have a 1,000 rupee note, so I'm a 2,000 rupee note, a 500 rupee note into your wallet that you don't touch at all. You don't ever spend. You will see how differently every day, just open your wallet, look at it once, shut it and put it away. I think, I'm no financial consultant, but I'm just saying these are simple things that you can do on a day-to-day basis without toppling the apple cart if you're so worried about doing that. But slowly you'll begin to realize that taking charge of your life also means, or importantly means, taking charge of your money. And it is difficult initially to suddenly wake up and say, no, I'm going to be in charge today. It's frightening.
Yeah.
You just want to disappear. You just want to cover yourself with a blanket and not emerge from it. But, once you go through that, initially, even the men may feel threatened. But once you go through that uncomfortable period, the man also gets comfortable. You also get comfortable. You know that this is not to threaten anyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Barring the men who might not want the women to access details of finance, usually most of the men who we have been interacting with, all of them want the women to be participative.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Especially COVID taught this a lot.
Oh, absolutely. And I think COVID also made you realize that unfortunately, lots of people lost loved ones, and a lot of people who were in charge of their finances, and then they were left high and dry, not knowing what was invested where. And so I think that knowledge is very, very important. And today more than ever, we can seek help. You always seek help or you look for advice when you don't know what to do. We're obviously ill-equipped, not knowledgeable enough, but there are people who can help you with that. Tell you how to grow your money. Money can grow. All these things that they say money does not grow on trees, I don't believe. Money can grow on trees. not literally, but I'm saying you can grow your money, and for that there are people who can help you with it.
True.
People like you all, like MFA, you know. So I think women should also know that there are these options.
Absolutely. And why shouldn't you yourself have a corpus that you're building?
Yeah.
You set it aside, like you said, you're seeing the money in the wallet. When you see the money sitting in your investments grow, that's a huge reward that you're giving yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So first save for yourself to, fulfill your needs, your desires, then save for a rainy day, and then invest.
Yes. Don't allow the money to sit in the bank.
Absolutely, because investments help your money grow.
Yes. What would you say, Vidya, when it came to having your own financial coach, to think in terms of setting down a set of goals and think money that way, in terms of the process of not just some product, but that I would like that XYZ things have to happen in life for me. These things are coming up.
Initially, when I started, I kept telling my father, no, you meet the financial coach. What will I do? I have nothing to do with this. But then as I started meeting her, and I remember that time when she gave me a sheet to fill out about the financial goals and what I want from life, and I didn't fill it for a few months. I was like, this is pointless. I'm okay, she's taking care of my investments, she's guiding me, and you do as you want, but I have nothing to do with this. But then I think it took me more than a few months to actually get down to, after a few successive meetings, I finally said, okay, I was ashamed that I hadn't done the homework. So out of just politeness, I think I actually filled it out, but that opened my mind to the fact that I didn't even know what I wanted from life. I didn't know how much money in the bank or through investments would make me feel secure. I didn't know if there was a time when I wanted to take a sabbatical from work, would I be okay with not earning? Because I started earning at the age of 15 and a half. I started working at that age. And so I was like, so if I'm not earning for a while, what will I do for my expenses, because I've not been used to, I'm not okay with the idea of asking my family or Siddharth for money, because I started working very early. So I started asking myself these questions, and the answers were fascinating. When she said, okay, put down a number, I didn't know what number to put down. And I actually then gave it thought, and she helped me break that down. And then I started asking myself, okay, how much do I actually went back and looked at what my expenses were monthly. Because there was a point when my father said, you have to spend more. I'm a person with very, very limited needs. I'm not someone who, I'm not a spendthrift. I'm not, but I just don't end up spending so much, or rather I didn't at that time. So my father said, you have to spend more money, because otherwise, the income tax department is going to think that you have some other source of income. And I'm someone who, I can proudly say this, has always earned in white.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, then he would give me a certain amount of money every month and say, do something with it. So I said, okay, now how much am I spending out of that money? What am I spending where? And then I realized how much I was spending, and therefore then how much I need for a period of a month, and then a period of a year, and therefore projection of how much I'd need for the next 10 years. And like I said, if I had to do a holiday once a year, twice a year, whatever, what is the ballpark that I'd need? And what else? Do I want to buy a house? Do I want to buy a fancier car? Do I want to, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And that's how I realized, actually, otherwise I was quite disconnected from money per se.
Right.
So I think having a financial coach has been very, 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 I'd say, enriching.
Awesome.
In the literal sense also. Because I will tell you that, you know, it's great to save money, but it's very important to invest it, because people don't realize that you can earn so much on your money.
Yes.
Because you know, when you keep it in a bank or even in a fixed deposit, your earnings are not as much as if you invested it. I think more people will be investing through MFA now.
That was lovely, Vidya. Very, very, very well said, really. And today, we want women to be participative. We want women to be able to understand where their money is. We want them to know exactly where it is, so that if they have to take a singular decision, suppose it's in the middle of the night, even there's a requirement of money, or in terms of an emergency, they know where it is. They know how to access it.
You should know what your insurance policies are,
Yes.
importantly. You know, a lot of women don't even know whether they have, for example, medical, your Mediclaim, and the youngest of women. I'm not talking about women, you know, of our mothers' generations, or I'm not sure a lot of us know it also. Knowledge is also power, as much as money is power. So the knowledge of that, I think, is very important. But you know, I keep thinking of why women find it so difficult, and I feel we were always homemakers, right? We were not earning for the work we did. Therefore, when we earn for what we do, even though it's been a while now, it's still fairly new, given that the historical context we're talking about is centuries old, right? We always handled the finances of the houses, but we didn't bring in the money. So we still don't feel a sense of ownership. If we feel a sense of ownership, then probably we'll get more involved. But the other way to work towards this is by getting involved, so that you feel a sense of ownership. It can work either way. Yeah, so I think importantly to have the knowledge about your money.
Yes.
You know, I think that knowledge will give you perspective, will help you, you know, write out or plan out your goals and then work towards it.
Lovely.
So I think knowledge about your money will therefore through all this lead to ownership of the money.
Yes.
Which will attract more money and therefore do it. Yeah, and I think like I keep saying, money is power. Money is also therefore worth. And therefore women need to also focus on that. That's my personal opinion.
Vidya, that was absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much, and wishing you a very, very, very happy International Women's Day again.
Thank you to you too. I absolutely enjoyed this. And yes to more for all of us.